it's Lynn from Always Moving Mommy, and we are heading into spring break, summer vacation, and all of that good stuff. And there is not necessarily a quiet time of year anymore, and we're always thinking about travel over here. And one of the things that comes up, especially over spring break and summer vacation, is potentially planning trips with other families. And so I just wanted to share a few tips and a little bit of insight so that if you are thinking about doing that, or if you're in the middle of planning vacation with another family or multiple families, here are some things to hopefully help make that experience a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable for everyone involved. So the first thing to think about is definitely communication. You want to travel with families that you are very comfortable with and don't have a problem communicating with, so that throughout the entire process, from planning to getting back home, that there is lots of open communication. Everybody's on the same page about expectations and things like that, and that nobody's afraid to speak up if they have a question or a concern, or if plans change or anything like that. So definitely think about how you're going to communicate. Is it going to be group text messages? Is it going to be email? How are you going to do that with your group for the planning? And are you going to set up specific times to communicate? Are you guys going to get together once a week to talk about the budget and where to stay and what to do and what to eat and all of those things? Is it just going to kind of be a natural text when you can situation? There's not really a right or wrong, but communication has to happen, and it has to be really open communication so that everybody's comfortable with all of the choices being made and the plans being made. Also, the expectations as part of communication, you want to make sure that the expectations are very clear from the front. Who is going to be paying for the trip? Is one person going to put it on their credit card and everybody is going to pay that person back? Is there a travel agent involved where everybody needs to make their own payment? Is everybody expected to spend all day, every day together, just eat meals together? What does it look like for the trip that you're planning with these other families? Make sure that everybody knows the expectations and that everybody is clear and agrees with those as well, so that there's no hurt feelings or upset people during your trip because they didn't know what was going on or what they were expected to do before or during your travels. Number 3 is kind of goes along with expectations, but y'all need to figure out what your must-dos are. If you are traveling to the beach, is the must-do spending a day at the ocean, going to a local restaurant, going to a local attraction, going hiking for a day, spending a day thrifting in local thrift stores or going antiquing, things like that? What are the must-dos for each of the families or each of the people involved in the trip, so that you can take that into consideration while you're planning, and so that everybody else can make plans if they want to do that or if they want to find something else to do during those times. Along with that goes talking about budgeting. So you want to come up with a trip that's affordable and doable for everybody involved. Planning to rent a $3,000 Airbnb to split between 3 families, if your whole budget for the trip is $1,000, you've just used that whole budget just on your accommodations. So what are you going to do for food and activities, travel to get there and back, all of those things? So knowing and being really open and honest and upfront about your budget is very, very important when you're planning this trip, especially with multiple people involved. You want to make sure that it's something that everybody can afford and everybody can enjoy, regardless of what their budget is. There are a ton of ways to save money and to do things and still have a really great vacation without spending a ton of money or without one person or family being on the hook for everything. Now, this also spills over into activities. Are you going to have a go and do vacation? Do you want to go and see and do all the things while you're traveling? Or is your point of traveling to go and sit at the house and bring activities to do? Do you want to get that blanket that you're crocheting finished? Do you want to read a new book? Do you want to Take your laptop and finish writing that book that's been on your heart for months and months and months. Do you want to bring games for the kids to play? What kind of activities do you want to do during your trip? That needs to be communicated to everybody so everybody's on the same page. So definitely think about those activities as well. And then finally is food. How is everybody going to eat? Are you going out to eat? Is everybody responsible for a different meal? Is everybody paying for a different meal? If that's the case, are they responsible for picking the restaurant? Does everybody agree to restaurants ahead of time? What kind of allergies are involved, or food aversions or sensitivities or anything like that? Food is a big part of every vacation. It's pretty much a necessity. So it's really important to tackle that while you're planning this trip for multiple families to go on. Depending on what your trip looks like, you could be bringing supplies with you or going to a grocery store once you arrive to make a meal, and everybody can take a turn doing that. And then back to communication, are you going to share your menus before you go to make sure that everybody likes those things? Just lots of talking to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because the last thing that you want to do is have this beautiful vacation laid out in front of you and you get there and someone's upset because there's nothing they can eat. They didn't want to go on a hike today. They didn't plan to spend the money to go out to eat for every meal. So lots of planning, lots of open communication, having one point person to kind of be in charge and keep everything organized can be very helpful too. If you don't want to plan all the things, that's fantastic and that's fine. You can totally split it up and have one person be in charge of food, one person in charge of finding the accommodations, that kind of thing. But just having one person to kind of be the point person and make sure that you are on top of all of the different things for the trip can be really helpful. So hopefully those few tips were helpful for you. If you have more, please drop them in the comments. There is lots more too over on the blog with tons more information and checklists and tips and tricks and that. So definitely go make sure to check that out too at alwaysmovingmommy.com, and have a fantastic rest of your day and a great vacation. You deserve it.